season! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's siu-yee, and if you're new, I make videos about frugality and finance, so don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more related content. Today I'd like to kick off my tax series for the 2021 tax season, and I am so excited about it. I hope that the information that I'm relaying to you is going to be really helpful for you when you're filing your own taxes, or in the future when maybe your situation changes and you have to take into account other things like side hustle income, or if you're paying student loans, you might have to account for student loan interest. Stuff like that is what I would like to cover in my tax series. But for today, I'd like to focus on the documents and information that you need to actually prepare to file your taxes, which is very important, especially because sometimes you can't actually finish the tax filing process unless you have all of the information that is required, particularly if you have a lot of different sources of income. So I hope that this helps a lot of the general population, but at the same time, I'm probably going to be narrowing in on some of the things that specifically apply to my situation and people who are in similar situations. And just a disclaimer, if you didn't know this already, I am not a professional tax preparer. I am just a person who likes doing her taxes. And I understand how frustrating doing taxes can actually be, especially if you're doing some things for the first time. These are all feelings that I had to go through when I first became, a functioning adult. And I honestly would love to save some people from having to deal with those feelings of frustration if possible. So let's get started with the basics. The most important thing that you will need to actually file your taxes is your personal information. Personal information includes things like your name, your address, any other contact information, your social security number or tax ID for everyone included in your tax return. Because a lot of people filing are also filing for dependents or spouses and stuff like that, so you need to have all of that information ready to start filling out the most basic part of the tax return. The next thing, which is something that most people know, is your income information. Now, there are multiple methods that people actually make their income, and this is when things start getting tricky. For the majority of people working like a 9-to-5 for a company where they are employees and they have an employer, they will likely receive a W-2, which is a form that the company that you work for should have given you by January 31st, 2021. And if not, I would suggest contacting them or the IRS if you can't get a response. This form particularly includes the taxes that have been withheld from your paycheck throughout the year. So you'll also have a record of what taxes you've actually paid to the IRS up until then. And then after you file your taxes, you can figure out how much you owe in addition to that, or how much you potentially overpaid throughout the year. Other income forms that are included within this income umbrella are bank or institutional statements. This includes information of how much you contributed to a Roth IRA, for example, or how much you've paid down in student loan interest. And that form in particular is something that I've had to collect before preparing my taxes, because it shows you how much interest you've paid throughout the year, and up until a certain income bracket, you will be able to take a deduction of the student loan interest that you actually paid, and therefore you may not have to pay the same in taxes as someone who earns the same amount of income in a similar situation but doesn't have to pay any student loan debt. Because you have been paying down your debt, you will get a deduction, which is really good. However, you do need the proof to back this up. So whatever lender or servicer you've had, they should give you that form. Make sure that you collect them for all of the lenders and servicers that you have, if you have multiple. The next thing that is going to be really common among freelancers is a 1099 form. This will tell you how much money you've actually earned throughout the year, particularly if you've made over $600. So if you haven't made that much money, you may not get that form. And in that case, you'll just have to rely on your own records of how much you earned doing a particular job that was under $600. Besides that, you'll also need information on how much money you've made from gambling, the lottery, etc., or information on your state refund from the previous year if you decided to itemize your deductions instead of taking the standard deduction. Now, the next category of information that you'll need is any self-employment or business information. This is where you'll have to dig through any receipts or logs of how much you've spent on your business, what the startup costs were, what the expenses are, whether you have a home office. Keep track of all of those expenses, anything that you are investing in that business, because that will be very important and it could eventually lead to a deduction. For example, if you're a DoorDash or a Postmates driver, it's really important to keep track of how much mileage you're using on your car when you're making deliveries, especially if you're driving full time, because that honestly really adds up and essentially it's deteriorating your car. If you're a YouTuber, you can also include any startup costs like a camera, a computer, video editing software, lighting equipment, anything that you are using specifically for your business or for part of your business should be something that you should keep track of. The next type of information that you'll need is any medical expenses or receipts, you know, hospital bills or anything that has not yet been reimbursed that you had to pay for out of pocket. That is definitely something that you want to keep track of and something that you will be asked to provide when you are doing your taxes. Any charitable donations that you've made throughout the year are really important to keep track of because that can also lead to a tax deduction. For example, 2 years ago, I actually donated a lot of stuff to Goodwill, especially when I was decluttering my apartment. And Marie Kondo's, you know, show came out on Netflix and everyone was trying to declutter. I actually gave up so many things that I did end up getting a charitable donation receipt with the actual date of the donation and the value of the items that I donated. So I was actually able to include that in my tax return and get a deduction on it, even though it was probably $250 of donations. If you are a homeowner, keep track of the property taxes that you've been paying on your property, your house. I personally have not gone through that because I don't own a home, but if you are a homeowner, definitely take advantage of that. Wow, it's really golden hour now. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to help me reach my 2021 YouTube monetization goal, or to watch any more tax series episodes where I dive into how I'm doing my taxes as a freelancer as well as a business owner, because my YouTube channel is my business. So stay tuned for that and have a great day.